welcome to Legislative Report with your state representative, John Hershey. I'm your host, Laurie Bull, and John Hershey was elected to serve the 82nd District in Franklin, Juniata, and Mifflin counties. Welcome to the program.
Yep, thank you for having me, Laurie.
Sure, and of course this is your first time around, and you had your first swearing-in day a few weeks ago. What were your thoughts on that special day?
It was incredible, just the amount of history going on in the House chamber. Of course, it was the same legislative body that Ben Franklin once served in. So a lot of founding things, not only for our state, but for our nation, have happened in this chamber, and I'm really glad to be a part of it.
And can you tell us a little bit about your background, what experience you bring into this job?
That's another thing I'm very excited for, is I think I do have some very tangible legislative experience to bring to the job. I was a legislative aide to U.S. Representative Charlie Dent from the Allentown area and handled ag issues for him down in Washington. So I have experience writing legislation, and I'm excited to work in that field. And before that, as I mentioned, I worked on ag issues. Before that, I grew up working around my family's business. We have a farm equipment dealership in Mifflintown, and we have a family of dairy farmers in Chester County, and I'm really excited to start work on those and a lot of other issues facing our state.
Well, appropriately enough, you got named to the Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee. Great fit for you. Your thoughts on that assignment?
Yeah, I'm very excited to be appointed to ag. That's my background, and that's what I know a lot about. That's what I've written on legislation on before.
Right.
So with ag, a lot of things that our farmers are dealing with right now are permitting processes. So whether it's environmental or just building permits, things like that, they can often wait maybe even years to get something built, or just under a year, where in other states it might be 2 or 3 months. So I'm excited to hit the ground running with that, to work on a lot of environmental issues facing our farmers, whether it's things as mundane as manure regulation or something like that, or erosion, sediment erosion, things like that can really help not only unfortunately impede a lot of our growth like a lot of our regulations do, but really help them hit the ground running with their operations back at home.
And your other committee assignments, Health Committee is one of them as well. What thoughts and issues are you looking forward to working on there?
Yeah, I'm excited for the Health Committee as well. In my mind, that's a very important one. Of course, it's something we deal with every day, is our health. A lot of people, when they think of that, they think of hospital regulation or doctor's offices, but they don't think about the pro-life aspect, and that's a very important issue to me. And anything that deals with protection of life, it will have my stamp of approval on it as it gets out of committee. And so that's something that is a very important thing for me to address, and something that we can work on as a Republican caucus as well. And I know that the Speaker really cares about some of those issues.
And the Human Services Committee, another assignment of yours, and that one will deal with many issues, but I'm guessing the premier one this next term would be the opioid crisis.
And that's, the opioid crisis is such a sad issue, and it's something that is not just affecting my district, but the entire state as a whole. Access to these drugs, how you punish the offenders, and things like that. So that's something that will be interesting to address and very important to the state, and a touchy subject for a lot of people, because a lot of people have been affected by this crisis.
And your final assignment is Judiciary Committee, courts, also dealing with crimes code, things along those nature. Do you know what type of things you're looking forward to working on specifically in that committee?
Yeah, the Judiciary Committee is one that I wasn't necessarily expecting to get my first term, but I'm very fortunate to get it. And as a freshman, that's one that's a pretty important one to my district that people don't always think about. So again, anything related to firearms goes through to judiciary. People don't always think about that issue.
Right.
And of course, if I'm going to protect our Second Amendment rights, there's nowhere better to be than on the committee that regulates our Second Amendment rights. Another thing I want to deal with is, what the Speaker would call lawsuit abuse or civil justice reform, helping our small businesses in the district avoid those kinds of suits that can really put them out of business, unfortunately, if they have $1 million settlement or something like that. Our employers in the 82nd District don't always have the money to pay out those settlements. So dealing with that issue, and I know it's an issue that's near and dear to the Speaker's heart as well, is something I'm really looking forward to dealing with.
And as you're working through all these issues and talking with your constituents, you want to keep that open door so you have some district offices that folks can stop by and talk.
Absolutely. So my district, probably if you drove from north to south, it's over 2 hours to get across. So it's one of the bigger ones. So I do have 2 full-time district offices, one in Mifflintown and one in Lewistown. So it's one for Juniata County, one for Mifflin County. And then Franklin County, so people can avoid driving the hour and a half it takes to get to Mifflintown in some parts of the district. They also have a Chambersburg area office as well that's open 2 days a week that people will be able to visit whenever they need to contact me.
Well, that sounds great, and thank you so much for taking the time today to update your constituents on your assignments and just getting started in the House.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. And that is all the time we have for today. If you have any questions for Representative Hershey, feel free to contact him at any one of his district offices, on his website, or Facebook page as well. All that information will be shown in just a moment. Thanks for watching, and join us next time for Legislative Report.